Hi my beautiful fellow queens, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who's new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So today, in today's video, I actually want to do two things. And the first thing is that I wanted to talk to you about my brushes and like the essential tools. I know I have done a video very early on in my channel about the brushes that I'm using, and actually my needs have changed. So I just want to do an updated version because I think actually that I need much less than I thought I did do. That I do. Oh man. And also some other tools that come in very handy if you're into makeup. So that's what I want to do. And then I also want to do some kind of a life update because I just started my Media Pro program, which is in preparation for me working, you know, in fashion shows and with TV productions and things like this. Hopefully, if God blesses me a lot, then that's going to happen. But this whole program, which will be going on for like 5 months, will be in preparation for that. And it's very intense and very challenging. And when I'm filming this, yesterday I had my first segment, like learning segment thing, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. So let's start with the makeup brushes and the essential tools. If that is all you're interested in, then you have this right at the beginning, and if you want to stay longer and just have some kind of like a bit of a story time and life update of Leorah, then you can just continue on after that. So let's maybe start with the biggest brushes and then go towards the smaller ones. So I just first of all wanted to show you my brushes that I'm using for applying liquid foundation, and they look like this. I personally like the ones that have a flat top and that are not like this. If you can see, this is a little bit more rounded, like a domed brush. I think they are okay too, but for my preference is the flat ones, because I feel that I can get much better into the angles and the edges, especially here around the eye under the lower lash line. I feel that those are awesome. This one here is from Essence, but I have all kinds of foundation brushes because I need a new one every single day, and sometimes I don't get around to wash them every single day. So I have like 5-6 brushes that I can have as a clean one every single day, because that is the secret for a good application of liquid foundation, to have clean brushes. The next thing is my powder brush, and I like brushes that are like this. And there are different kinds, of course, different kinds of powder brushes. Hi, sweetie. Come. Tukoa doesn't have kindergarten today, so he is here with me. Hi. Yeah. You have a telephone? A phone. Here, people cannot see you. Look. Say hi. Say hi. You don't want to say hi? You want to go and play? Yeah? Okay, bye. Don't fall over the cables. Alright, so I really like these kind of brushes. Also because you can just get, like, you have a preciser way of working, you know? If they are, do I have even a different one that is not like that? Yeah, here. So that is in the back row because I'm not using it. It's this kind of a brush compared to this kind of a brush, if you can see what I'm saying. This one is a little bit more like pointed, and this one is more flat. So I love those way more. And when I'm applying my powder, and you saw that in, I think in my foundation routine, that I'm just dabbing the powder on like this. And here I just have a much better, more precise application because of this pointed part. You know, I'm able to just be really precise. So this is my powder brush, and I also use that for brushing off the fallout or whatever. This is the brush that I'm using. The next brush that I'm using is a contour brush. And this one is angled. It's like this. It is somewhat stiff. It's not too fluffy. And I see a lot of people applying contour now with, let's see, these kinds of brushes. They are a little bit like powder brushes, but they are flat. They are not round. And I feel personally that they are too fluffy, too soft to have a precise application, because the second you touch your face, they sort of fluff out like this, you know. And with these brushes, they are more stiff, and I feel when I'm doing my contour that I have a more precise, I guess it's all about precision for me. I don't know. I feel sort of this is what it boils down to, that I have more control over what I'm doing instead of everything like falling apart and fluffing out like this. So this is my contour essential. In my first video, I think I showed you this kind of a brush for contour. I still use that once in a while. I've sort of graduated from this. It's not a bad brush, these flat ones. It's just that, I don't know, this is maybe already a little bit too harsh for me. I'm sort of going like between those two, but if I would use this now, I would still like fluff it out with this one a little bit, because you can fluff it out, but you have still more control than using something like this for contouring. Then for bronzing, I actually use a brush like this. This is like a small powder brush, but it has more control. It is not as fluffy and not as big. Let me just give you for comparison. This is a powder brush and this is my contouring brush. And I just want to say, in connection to all of that, that I'm totally misusing brushes, in the sense that I decide what they're supposed to be. You know, if it's a brush that is supposed to be for lips and I'm using it for concealer, so that's what I do. I'm just trying to figure out what is the best for me. And sitting like this. And yeah, so I'm just encouraging you to do that too, and not just think because it says powder brush on this, or it says foundation brush on that, or concealer brush on that, doesn't mean that you have to use it that way. Nobody's gonna come and give you grades on this, or check up if you're using it the right way. Okay, so this is all being part of being creative, and you know, it's your face, it's your body. Do whatever, you know, at the end of the day feels good for you. So this is what I'm using for bronzer, because it is somewhat fluffy, but it doesn't cover quite as big of an area as this one would, for example. And the other one that I showed you before, the pointed one that I'm using for my powder, that is too pointy to apply the bronzer for me. So with this one, I feel, and this was, I don't even know what brand it is, and it's falling apart, but I still love it. So this one is just perfect for my face size, I guess, also. You know, to drag it along the face and apply the brush, the bronzer, you know. Yeah, so that is my bronzing brush. And then we're moving on to blush. So a lot of people, most people probably, use the typical strobing brush, like a blush brush. Wow, these names. Blush brush. This kind. I personally, I've tried it. I don't like it too much. I can do it, but I personally like more precision. And I'm using an angled brush like this, honestly. So I'm just going to turn that slowly so you can see. It's not 100% round. It is more like flat on one side, you know. And I feel when I'm applying the blush, because I have this way of applying my blush way up my cheek, that I can have more precision in just sort of sliding it on instead of going big time, you know, because I want to apply it in a smaller area. So for me, this makes way more sense because I do have more precision and more control. And then once I have applied it, I can still then use it to sort of smudge it into the contour shade and smudge it a little bit upwards. And then later on, once I've done my eyes and I've brushed away the fallout, then I will after that apply my highlight right here with a different brush. That is this one. I used to have this one and this one for highlighters. It's a small and a big fan brush, and I'm not using them at all anymore, honestly. I switched to this kind of brush for a highlighter brush because I just love it. It makes way more sense for me. I think it's also an issue of being more precise in everything, to have this smaller area, and also when you want to build up a highlighter, that you just go in and then in again and in again until you reach your final destination, the exact amount that you want, or the exact strength of highlighter that you want. And I do feel that if you have like a big brush like this, you cannot be as precise, you know. This doesn't work for me anymore. What I've discovered, what you can do, with these kinds of brushes, if you have a lot of area that you can cover here, you could use that for highlighting here, but there's actually a smaller version that I happen to have, and that is even smaller, like the black one. It's this one, and this is pretty good for highlighting here, but I almost never do that. This just came as part of a set. I'm going to hold it in front of my face so it doesn't disappear in the white background. This came as part of a set, and I basically never use it, but I'm basically not ever using those fan brushes again. I'm just showing them to you because I'm pretty sure that in my first video about this whole topic I showed you these brushes and that they are essential for me, but they're not anymore. So we're evolving. Which doesn't mean that you have to, you know, you do whatever is good for you. Next thing, that's the next area that we want to cover, is eyebrows. And for eyebrows, I'm actually using a spoolie in order to just brush up the eyebrows before I'm, you know, putting down the underline, sort of, because that helps me to exactly see, you know, where my eyebrows actually start. So I need a spoolie, definitely, and I'm actually using a very small tiny brush like this. So I'm using this one to apply the eyebrow gel and also to apply the eyebrow shadows. And I have also one that is a little bit bigger, just for comparison purposes. Do you see this? I hope you see this. So one bigger one and one smaller one and a spoolie. And also for eyebrows, I'm using a tiny little fluffy brush that looks like this. Just turning it a little bit. Now my baby is coming back. Okay, so because I'm using that after I've done all the outlining, I'm using this to sort of fluff out the inner part, you know, to just dab on more shadow in the inner part of the eyebrows. So these kind of brushes are very stiff and hard. They're perfect for drawing an exact line, but they are not good for sort of filling out the space in between. So that's why I'm using a small fluffy, somewhat fluffy brush. It's not very fluffy because still, if you don't have enough precision, then it's going to be very hard to work a small area like this. So yeah, so that's for my eyeliner. Then we're moving on to the eyes. There are different kinds of bigger brushes that I'm using for the eyes. Here, for example, is my crease brush. It's not cleaned yet because I used it this morning. So this is a crease brush that I'm using. There are different kinds. This one is a little bit stiffer, which you can see. You just have to believe me. This one is a little bit more fluffy. This is a little bit more stiff to have a little bit more precision, or to apply a darker shade once you have put down your transition shade. So that would be a good one. Then I have one that is a little bit more pointed compared to, compared to the one in the middle. If you can see that, this one here, this one is a little bit more pointed. So you have, hi booby. Ada. What? Oh, you want me to talk in the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Bye. Okay, so this one is more pointed. So you have a little bit more precision to go into the crease and also apply a darker shade, or you know, even when you want to blend something on a smaller area, that is a good brush. And then I have two brushes that my friend sent to me, who are from the Ultra brand, and they look like this, and they are super fluffy. One is bigger one is smaller one. They are super fluffy, and I love those for blending out the outer edges. They make such a smooth kind of a, you know, blown out look. Like, as you can see here, I used them this morning for creating the outer corners, and also not also for that, but also for like dabbing on more pigment when you have, for example, a blend here between the black and the dark Bordeaux brown kind of a shade, and you're having a hard time blending. Then you just take one of the shades, the one that you have more towards the outside, and you just dab it on like carefully, and that also helps you to blend. It's not, blending is not only going like this, it's also sometimes going like in dabbing motions, you know. So these two are for me super essentials that I'm using every single day. Then I need, or I think you need, because I cannot imagine how to work without it, a good pencil brush that is pointed and stiff. I need that definitely always for doing my under eye. 100%. This one I need to apply the initial eyeshadow right under my lash line, and then I have a flat brush that is somewhat stiff but already a tiny little bit more fluffy, and that one is the one that I'm using to either apply another shade below the first initial shade and then sort of blend them out downwards and like this, or yeah, that's what I do. So these two are my essentials for the lower lash line. And then there is one more for making like cut creases, and for example for the halo eye that I did today. So this is a brush that has two sides, and you don't have to have one that has two sides, you can just have two different ones. So this is like a pencil brush, but it's not pointed. I love this one, for example, for the inner corner like this. This works perfectly for me for the inner corner. And this one is a very, very extremely stiff, small brush that is very, very flat and stiff and short, and it's rounded. So that helps me so much when I have to like go into the crease and actually exactly find the right place to like cut the crease and to apply the shimmer when I have to work in a very precise way, which I usually do because that's just the way I am. So I use this kind of a brush. I hope you can see this. It's, yeah, this one is from Essence. Very, like a very simple brush, but I think this is very, very essential. So these were all the medium brushes, and then I just have three more very small ones, and then we're almost done. Okay, so this here is actually a brush, no, all of them are brushes that I bought in an arts and crafts store. They are not even brushes that are for really for makeup application, but it doesn't matter, they still work on your face, you know. So these two here I'm using to apply gel eyeliner. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer. I don't know if the autofocus, yeah, I think we are in focus. So you can see the difference. One is really, really small, and the other one is small. The other one is very small. And then I have this one here, which is flat. It's flat, it's straight on top, it's very stiff, and this is a brush that I, for example, use to, for example, on my eye look today, when I'm doing a halo eye, when I am going in, after I applied the shimmer and the halo, I'm going in, for example, today with the black and applying that here, you know, right above the halo. Because that you have to have something really, really precise to work with, and then you can go in, for example, with a pencil brush and start to blend it out a little bit. And then if you're not yet 100% happy with that, you can have a tiny little bit of a bigger brush, like for example, like the one that I showed you that I'm fluffing out my lower lash line. to blend it out a little bit more. But it all depends also how big your lid space is. You know, you have to adjust your brushes. If you have very, very small lid space, then big brushes really don't help you. So these are all the brushes that I'm using. I hope that helped you. I just want to quickly show you some other essential tools. And one, of course, is the sponge. That is still messy from this morning, so I'm working here, so that's how it looks. This is the kind of sponge I use. I don't use any other sponge anymore. It's just these Beauty Blender sponges. This is not Beauty Blender, but it's the kind of Beauty Blender, you know, type. These are my favorites, definitely. Then there is tape. If you want to do like a dramatic eyeliner kind of a wing thing, you can use tape. I have not done that in a long time because ever since I have started to do it different ways. I show you in a second. There's also these fallout sheets that I used to use. I don't know if you remember that I used to cut them in half and then glue them on right here and sort of draw my eyeliner, my wing, and then just take it off, and then you have the perfect liner. So this is something that can be extremely helpful. I'm also not using that anymore really for a long time because I have started to smoke out my eyes way more than I used to. So that's why it doesn't really help if you want to have like a really smoky eye, because when you're glued on, basically your smoky eye ends above this, right? So your lower lash line is always going to be different. So I like this right now. I might go back to this, who knows. The next thing is for applying lashes, and that is this tool. This is a false lash tweezer, which has like an elongated tip here to really hold the false lashes, and makes it so easy to just put them on and like place them exactly in the right spot. I still have a normal tweezer because in the inner corner, when I'm tweezing them sort of, you know, together with my natural lashes, I feel I have more control when I have a small tweezer, so I can be really precise. It might change once I have a little bit more experience with this, because this is very new to me. I've just used that a couple days when I'm filming this. So, but right now I'm using both of them. Then of course there is an eyelash curler, which is super essential for me before I'm applying my falsies. So that is an essential. And the last thing I want to mention is actually this one, and this is also very new to me. I didn't even know that this exists, but this is an eye falsie drying rack thing. So basically you're taking your falsies, you put on the lash glue, and then you're putting them pointing upwards, like with the glue upwards obviously, so they can sit in there and the lash glue can dry down till you're ready to apply them. You know, I think this is awesome because I've put my eyelashes everywhere just to have them somewhere, so the glue can start to be a little bit more tacky, so it's easier to apply them. And this is such a good invention. So this is from Lily Lashes, and I'm so glad I have this. It's amazing. So my friends, I hope this was helpful, and if this is all you wanted to see, then I hope you have an awesome day. And for everybody else, I just wanted to quickly update you a little bit on what's going on. So I spoke already to you about the Media Pro, and yesterday when I'm filming this, I had my first learning section unit thing of 4 hours in the evening. Excuse me. And that was amazing. I just couldn't believe this is studying on a whole different level. I had no idea that it would be like that. I had no idea. So I went there, and I thought the first unit, the first day or evening would be like introduction and things like this. But after 20 minutes, the teacher said to us, okay, so I have a little surprise for you. I have models sitting in the other room, and the photographer is on the way, and in 1.5 hours we are going to have a professional photo shoot, every single one of you, and these photos will go into your portfolio, in your lookbook, you know. So I was like for like a minute I was frozen in place because I didn't know if I could handle this. But it was amazing. The first, like when they brought in the models, it was really, really scary because we had no control over who we were getting and all of these things. And we also had to work together with a different makeup artist. We had to work in a team, which is super hard, and I hate that, but it's good to be able to do that and to learn that. So you have to sort of work around each other, and you know, and then being under time pressure, and it was amazing. I loved it because this is what prepares you for the big stuff, for real life situations where you have like a fashion show and you have to make up models, like you have to keep going, you know, and people are waiting for you and the photographer is waiting and you have to go and go and go and go. And I love that. This is what brings out the best in me, and I went home after that. I was so exhausted. I felt like I burned 5,000 calories in like 2 hours just by doing makeup. And I was so thrilled and elated. I think there is a word like this, elated. I'm sure you'll teach me in the comment section. So I felt so good about this, so amazing. And as the time goes on, we're going to learn a lot. Like next week, for example, there is going to be a very, very like high level fashion photographer coming and going to teach us about photography and about lighting, which hopefully will have some impact on my studio here. Obviously, I know that lighting for photography is different than lighting for videography, but I hope I can maybe get some idea of what's going on. So things like this, and we're going to learn how to like do styling and hair and makeup. We're going to do everything, you know. We are going to prepare whole fashion shoots, and we'll be in charge of the whole thing, including the styling and preparing the models and preparing the place, the hair, the makeup, the everything. And this is so exciting. I can't even believe that I'm doing this and that I have been chosen to do this, you know, because if you don't know, the best ones of the country were chosen to do this. So I still don't know how this is happening in my life, and it's scary, but I'm just praying that God will use this to really like push me, you know, because not in the sense of Leorah, come on, be on your throne and be famous, but in the sense of me achieving or getting to the place where God wants me to be, and where I'm going to be of the biggest service and of the biggest whatever my thing is, what I'm supposed to do here, you know, what I'm supposed to reach. So I'm super excited about this, and I just wanted to update you that this has now started in my life. I've mentioned or touched up on that beforehand, telling you that it's gonna come up, and now it has started. So because I'm pre-filming a lot, I have a lot of videos that are filmed and already uploaded but not released on YouTube yet. So I'm going to make sure that this is one of the next ones you see, even though I have filmed a lot of other ones already that are waiting. So just so you know that this is really what's going on right now. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please like the video, and if you're new here, then please consider to subscribe. I would love to have you here. This is really a fun place, and I'm sure as we go along on this journey together, we're gonna see a lot of stuff like developing, and I hope that I'm gonna get better, and I'm super excited, and I so love to take you along for the journey. I hope you're up for this. We might surprise each other yet. Alright, so I hope to see you next time here for my next video, and up until then, don't forget to sparkle, don't forget your royalty, and I'll see you then. Hugs and kisses. Bye.